Hello, Cameron. I'm going to talk through what I'm pretty sure is your paper one. And it begins, I think, with while cybersecurity is a major factor in the IT world, the consequences of it are far reaching. Security is a factor, the consequences are far reaching. Cybersecurity is something that affects each and every person who owns or uses any kind of device which connects to the internet, ranging from governments to young children using apps on their parents' phones. Well, I believe that IT professionals are working tirelessly to maintain network security, and I also have the belief that they are outnumbered. I put a comment in the written version there by clever hackers with malicious intent who want to steal identities and valuable personal information for their own personal gain. Okay, so the important stuff. This first sentence here, while it's a major factor, the consequences are far reaching. When you start your sentence with while, it is a signal that you're going to turn in a new direction. So like, while I love apples, comma, I don't love apple pie, right? And you haven't changed it. You keep going in the same direction. It's a major factor and the consequences are far reaching. So you need some other word that shows that. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, in order to explore the complex game of cat and mouse it takes place between cybersecurity professionals and hackers, I believe the best way to investigate this would be to research the techniques and tools ITs use to maintain network security versus the ways in which hackers snake their way past firewalls and measures put in place to keep them out. Snake their way. I mean, I'm an English person, so I'm going to be like, ooh, exciting language. But on the other hand, like that sentence is crazy long in order to all the way down to out. That needs to be at least 2 sentences because I was kind of getting lost in it. While searching for tools ITs incorporate to ensure safety, as an article written by while searching for tools ITs incorporate to ensure safety, an article written by this person titled that speaks. This while word just gets you into so much trouble. Let's see. So just to avoid, I feel like that sentence isn't really working. I kind of am confused by it while searching. Titled this. So I would probably start that just at an article written by Nadim Sahid speaks of how security professionals identify when there is a threat. That'd be better. So, and the reason I took out that beginning piece is because, well, I mean, it's just, I don't think you need it. And yeah, you don't need it. Cool. Signature-based threat detectors, as found in most antivirus and firewall solutions, is reactive. Okay, I see. Vendors create signatures for malware as they appear in the wild or license them from third-party sources like Google's VirusTotal and update their products to recognize and protect against the threats. So since you told us it was Zahid, you don't need to put Zahid in that little part, although, you know, I never get upset with people for giving too much information about their source. Essentially what this means, beautiful, you are about to explain the quote, which is exactly what you need to do there. Essentially what this means is that malicious software used to wrongfully gain access to networks have certain characteristics they exhibit. These tools will send alerts that there is a potential compromise to the network. Okay, let me back up in all this. So I think one thing is we definitely need a new sentence here. Essentially what this means is a new sentence. Is that malicious software used to wrongfully gain access to networks have certain characteristics they exhibit. These tools will. All that can go, right? You're getting my lesson about omit needless words. If you don't need words there, cut them out. And I'm well aware that sometimes people are, not you, I'm sure, but sometimes people are trying to make their paper long enough, so they end up with some extra things that they don't need. But from my perspective, and I feel like from many professors' perspectives, they would much rather something be a little too short than say the same thing over and over again. That starts to make you a little bit like, is it just me, or is this going around the same circle again? And And the main way that main way that writers can make their writing long enough, which happens in different contexts depending on what kind of writing you're doing, but is to discuss more examples or to take like a different point of view entirely on this whole thing. Like you said, I'm going to talk about hackers and IT professionals. So if it's not long enough, you say, okay, I'm also going to talk about the average user, right? And then you have a whole nother set of things to talk about without being worried you would repeat yourself. Cool. So all that sentence really needed to say is that they'll send alerts. While this is a useful means to bolster on-site security, you love while. You love it. That's cool. I use the transition but. This happened, but that happened. This happened, but that happened. So often I have to like edit it out of my writing. Okay. It has limitations as the article, I think you just have one article there, further explains. These measures are proactive and not reactive. New malicious software which has no known characteristics can easily bypass this measure. What? Okay, so signature-based threat detection is useful to bolster security, but it has limitations. These measures, I don't know what measures we're talking about there. These measures are proactive and not reactive. You just need some different wording there because I'm kind of lost in that. New malicious software which has no known characteristics can easily bypass this measure. And definitely we're needing a new paragraph here. Maybe this next paragraph is about, I don't know what it's about yet. But when you say new malicious software, that might be the beginning of the next paragraph. I mean, the other reason that I torture people about making shorter paragraphs is that very often when people look through their paragraphs that are super long and try to figure out where they would break them up, they also realize that their organization could be clearer. Because the process of going through and being like, okay, this is about this is about that, this is about this, will help people to identify often, like, oh, this part needs to go up there too. Okay. One further research, I found another means by which security is ensured online in the article titled Getting Cloud Right, the four crucial aspects of blah, blah. Okay. I think here we have another sentence. It's like super long and I'm lost. Upon further research, I found a means by which security is ensured online in the article titled Getting Cloud Right, the four crucial aspects of security. Robert Smith details that encrypting data is an important method for keeping data safe. Ah! Okay. You could split that. And I found another means by which security is ensured online. Period. Or another way security is ensured online is discussed in Getting Cloud Right, blah, blah, blah. Smith details, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, when there's too much information all smashed together in one sentence, your reader, and like including teachers who grade your work, can like not assess it fairly, potentially, because it's all kind of glommed on there together and not picking out like you actually did say a bunch of great things. Data encryption is the process of encoding data transferred across networks in such a fashion that only one user who is the intended user has the correct key to decode the data and view the information as intended. This totally seems like a new paragraph. While the data is being sent to its destination, should it be intercepted along the way by someone attempting to steal the file, they won't be able to access it or view it in a meaningful way because they don't. So when I run out of breath before I can finish your sentence, it's too long. I mean, not that you can't have some sentences like that, of course, that's fine, and that's your style, and that's totally up to you, but it's a lot easier to lose your reader in a lot of long sentences. In the event a network or database is breached, data encryption can indirectly protect valuable information by way of rendering it useless to hackers who do not possess the decryption keys to the information. While I do not believe this measure necessarily tips the scales in favor of the security professionals, it does, however, create a fail-safe, I think that's how people use that word, in the event of a security breach. Okay. Sorry, time check. So going back to the beginning, we had, okay, we start with, we're going to compare hackers and IT professionals. Then you talk about how they, how they're going to do different things. Okay, so the ways you're going to talk about that they're different are signature-based threat detection, encrypting data, so when you go back through this section, like up through page, well, it's page 5 in this. I know, things get weird when you put stuff inside of your other Google Doc. But so as you look through that, everything in those pages should just be about, and only be about, signature-based threat detection. That's its own section. And the other section is all about encryption and decryption and all that. I think that will help you sort out some of your organizational issues in there. Okay, having explored two of the many techniques used in your network state is imperative. Is imperative look? I think you mean it is imperative to look at how hackers bypass security measures to wrongfully access information. One method of doing this is called social engineering. In an article titled, backing up. Yeah, that's all good so far. Okay, an article titled this, blah. So we either want to say, these are tiny things, but like they can stand out. We either want to say, in an article titled this, the author writes, or an article titled blah, blah, blah details this method. Right? One or the other, but not both. Okay, social engineering is an attempt to get you to share personal information, usually by impersonating a trusted source. Many types of social engineering bait come in the form of phishing emails, whereas, I think it should be wherein. A clever hacker sends you a message that looks like it's from someone you know, asking you to do something like wire the money or to click download an infected attachment to see more. This is a clever... Gotta lose your A there. You're saying something else. This is a clever method because in this instant, hackers do not need to waste their time trying to break through firewalls. Excuse me. They instead bait users to willingly give them wanted information by posing as someone the person trusts. Okay. I like how you transitioned from one idea to the other there. Like saying, okay, not breaking through the firewalls, but this other thing. But... like, what's a firewall? I mean, you don't have to explain a lot about that, but I think you should just a little bit of that. And then you already said what it is. So they instead bait users. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you need anything in that sentence because you have already said that, I think. This, to me, demonstrates the predatory nature of online hacking and the dangerous proposition because it places the onus on individuals who may not be tech savvy or ignorant to what suspicious emails look like. Sure, these people are likely unaware of the consequences of falling victim to these seemingly harmless emails. In workplaces, I believe there should be some degree of training so that employees can decipher between normal emails and malicious phishing attempts because typically workplace databases contain sensitive private information such as names, addresses, and other exploitable information. Having employees realize... Oh, that's a totally different thought. Having employees realize what could be a fake email could potentially save the... Yeah, okay, it's a different thought, but actually it's just repeating the same thought. So, again, I'm feeling like you need to look at another point of view, like regular or, the everyday users of technology, or go deeper somewhere else. So you don't have to repeat yourself. In recent history, there have been many high-profile data breaches. In particular, I would like to explore what happened to Capital One in 2019. And I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to start a new video.